How to Draw Cartoons with John-Marc. Hey, it's John-Marc and welcome to my series on teaching you how to draw cartoons and so much more. Today's episode, I have some lessons to share with you that are really fun and creative. The first one is a whimsical house. What's a whimsical house? Using your imagination, letting anything go on with that one. That one's going to be a real fun one. The second one is going to be a palm tree in the middle of an island, all by itself. Maybe not if you use your imagination. And the last one is going to be an old-fashioned envelope. That's going to be a real fun one, easy one, but practical once again. So, if you have your paper and pencil, let's begin. All right, so I'm going to be using the paper portrait, not landscape. For this one's going to be a tall one. That's what we call portrait this way, where the other way is considered landscape. And this little whimsical house, I love doing stuff like this. It's one of my favorite things, just being creative. So when you're doing this lesson, feel free to use your imagination or just follow it and then see how I built it and change it yourself. All right, so I'm building like the top part of like a rooftop, kind of like if there was a mushroom, and like if it's like a hat type of a deal in this spot there, and over here I'm just going to be using it as if it's like a little doorway. And what type of creature or animal lives in it? Is this a little mouse, or is it big enough for a duck or a raccoon, or a little space alien, or this could be a space alien house. Feel free to have even characters that you want to add in here. I'm just working on the object in this case here. Those little stones. I'm going to make like a little wall here made out of stones. That's part of it. The texture of the building there. All right, that's looking good. I like that. And I'm going to be, as you can see, I'm just going very lightly with my mechanical pencil. I'll come back a little heavier thereafter. All right, and here we go. A little bit sweeping on. I'm just thinking, what can it be? What can it be? So sometimes when I do these lessons, or if I'm just working on my own, if I have a project, I might thumbnail out some of these ideas before going into this step. This step right here, I practice around with a couple different designs previously before doing this lesson, so I have something in my mind, the shape and the form, but I may still change some of that when I'm going through that. Like this is going to be like a little top of a tower on there. That's the top of the roof here, and the little window right here on the top. Is it made out of bricks or stones, or is it made out of wood, or is it organic? Is it like a top of a mushroom? That could even be done there. And that's funny. You could have like a ivy around there. I'm going to make it as if it was like cement and stones in that case. There's some stones in here and the cement in there. All right. You can feel free to use your imagination. It doesn't have to be organic, or it doesn't have to be different types of lumber. It could actually be a candy. You can make the whole candy house out of this shape. I just was thinking right now. All right, let's give it like little shaped tiles on the top of the roof there, like if it's almost like a flower petal. That would be kind of fun. That would have been a real good roof if it was a flower. I like that idea. And this little sweep here. All right, let's get some other dimension out of there. The shadow. This is almost like a hat, a flower hat. Yeah, I'm just going to give a little lines right here. This is trying to give some little dimension and feel for the lap of the hat there. All right. On the side, some more stones, a little bit heavier. Working on that. It's like overlapping. I'm just going to shade in some of these so we can separate the area. So like these, I'm thinking stone, or maybe not. They're stone. I don't know. But I just like the shape to be on the bottom there. That looks nice. All right, just going to shade them. It's really simple. Keep the lines all same way. Motion all the way across so they have symmetry there. And this is a rock right in front of there. It works. Okay, there we go. I like that. Looking good. I like that. Fun little house. This would be a definite one, a fun one to color in. I'm going to be doing that like I shared in one of my other lessons. That's going to come out in series number 3 in my How to Draw series that I have online on TV and other streaming services. All right, I like that little top. This could be an address. That could be a sign or a stone on top there. Let's just color that in for right now, like a stone. Yeah, this is a wooden door. Giving that out there. Little stone on the other side there. A little. You gotta get the horizon. Is this on top of the mountain or is this in a valley? All right, this is like a nice little window. Nice size window in there, cut out. Gonna just shade it in there so it's like it shows it a little contrast again. There we go. I like that. Simple. Yeah, I like that. Very simple lesson. And this thing is what's really good when you do stuff like this. You can get so creative, so many different shapes and forms. And this is the under part of that roof line / hat. You can see that I'm just creating like a little texture underneath there, getting a little heavier. I'm definitely going to put a shadow underneath there. Let's get these little petals maybe, or these petals made out of like flowers, or they shape out of tiles of wood. I'm not so sure. But coloring it, you know what? That'd be really fun. Very colorful petals. If that was a center here, it was yellow. If it was like a echinacea flower or a black eye Susie, the petals would have those colors. That would be a real fun element on there. I like that already. All right, and let's get the corner piece here. A little heavier. I like that. A little there. That's looking good. And when you're thinking of this stuff, sometimes you may want to just go outside in your garden or outside in the backyard, or when you're walking around in the woods, taking pictures of mushrooms or logs and rocks, and then using all those as references will be great. You can go online and look for all that stuff too, but you know what? Go out there and take a little walk in the woods or in your backyard and take a whole bunch of pictures and come back inside and do some sketches. I'd rather do it that way. Yeah, spend some time outside. This is the underneath part. Yeah, a little shading on there, a little heavier, really heavy on that one. Yeah, this could be made out of wood. On the top there, tile. Let's give it a little curve there so it kind of gives that shading technique in there. I like that. The inside of the window there, that's going to go a little bit dark. Is it a window or is it a cutout hole? I'm so sure. You know what? This is old time stuff, so no windows. Let's not make glass on that. Here's a little shadow line underneath the hat there. So it's hanging over the base of the house. Let's make some whimsical trees. Very tall trees. Are they like birch trees, in the distance on the forest? Okay. Or are they cotton candy, All right, the little spots here, I like that. Another one on a far corner. All right, a little smaller one. So show depth. So they all don't have to be the same size and next to each other and perfect. So all different shapes and sizes would be kind of nice. But in this case, I'm just making them very similar. The shading kind of implies it's further back. Another one all the way over here, randomly behind. I like that. As you can see, that's very whimsical feel to it. Let's get something over here as well, too, behind the house. So you can show that. Yep. Another smaller one over here behind that one. What season is it? Is it winter? Is it fall? Is it summer? What type the coloring would be? Are they like fall colors, or they could be like colored on top of with the blues in there? All right, let's do a little pathway right here. I like that. That's looking fun. A little whimsical walkway, some little stones and grass popping up every now and then. All right, let's get that lead out again. Simple. Yeah, I like that. Fun. What else can we do here? Could we add a mailbox on here? Can we have some more, somebody walking down there like with a little mouse? That would be a little interesting. A little bit more stones. Let's just pop them up here. Little baby mushrooms or more flowers, little stones in the pathway, just break them randomly throughout all that. Some grass blades there. All right, so as always, I think we're done. As always, let's sign and date. Make sure you share with your family and friends. Thanks.
Hey, now that was a fun lesson on that whimsical house. I enjoyed sharing that. That's one thing I love doing, being creative with houses or structure. What What did you do different? Using your imagination and changing some of the structures, the style that I had, maybe you keeping your style perfect. If you enjoy this lesson, the next one is just going to be just as exciting, so stay tuned.
And now back to our show.
All right, all your traveling artists, if you're ready to enjoy this lesson on a little cartoon palm tree in the middle of an island, you can definitely use your imagination. How? It can be done by the water, some fish jumping around, some birds flying in the air. And you know what? I'm not going to give you suggestions. Let you use your imagination. So if you have your paper and pencil, let's begin.
All right, let's begin today's lesson with this cute little cartoon palm tree. I'm working with my mechanical pencil. I'm sketching really rough. And feel free to use your imagination, as I always state, and then change the shape and your style as well. What I did here right now is I just had that first line, which was like a pretty much like an action line or the shape of the tree and the angle. And I'm just quickly sketching out some of the palm leaves and branches on the top part of the palm tree there. And you can see in the far back, I kind of have them like a bird's eye view, kind of circling around. And of course, I like to give some little rips in there so it's not perfect. And changing the front there, the angle and the shape. This is going to be a simple lesson, but this lesson's going to be really great to practice over and over again and changing your style and timing yourself in this case. Remember some of the previous lessons I shared that. So make sure that you date your artwork always. Very critical to know the level of your artistic capabilities and your improvement. And just working on the top there right now, again, that little like the new branches forming, and there's a backside, a big rip on the other side. And what did I mean by actually going back and forth and redoing it over and over again? It's just practicing this simple lesson, but you're actually, when you're doing it, you're actually learning your style over and over again if you're creating it over. And feel free to explore maybe a different tree than a palm tree. You may want to do a pine tree, a maple tree, an oak tree, with leaves or without leaves. This one is going to be on a little island, as you can see right now. I just have the horizon line back there in the far distance, creating some little rocks. It'll be really fun. I didn't do this one. It's like a treasure chest. Think of it. I'm just going to just make it very small, have a whole bunch of rocks here and there, and little big ones and small ones. There we go. Very clean. Little grass blades in the back. Yeah, there we go. There's some more in the foreground there, and like the shadow. There we go. Let me get that little. This is the beach area, and below that is where the water. Very small island with one little palm tree in there, and it goes. And this area here is like where the water is rushing back up and down. These are little bubbles when the water is rushing in. Yeah, just randomly putting them all over the place right there. Some here, some there. Some small and spacing it out. There you go. A little one over here. All right. This is, again, the reason I say timing yourself, and it's not a race. It's just to see how you are improving as an artist. And I'm just going to shade in some little water in the background there. Little spots there. And let's get some more little waves. I'm going to shade in some of the rocks here and there. And the side there, yeah. Simple. All right, let's get some shading on the side of the palm tree over here. Have that center line I'll just use as the middle of the tree there. I'm just shading it in. It's not perfect in any way, but just give some little tone. You can even shade in the branches if you want to. You can add a little birds, fish swimming by, a little boat in the background. Could add some sun and some cloud. Yeah, you know what? Let me add the shadowing right there. Yeah, I'm going to shade this one a little bit darker on that other side. All right. And a little bit on the other side there. That looks good. I like that one a little darker because it's on the other side, so it's going to be more shadow on that side. And I'm just working here and going to take that center branch right there. And I'm just going to go pretty wide with it so it's not too dark. For wider the pencil strokes are, the less tone you have, so it's not so dark and gray. A little bit heavier with that there now, though. Okay, yeah. I'm going to add a little clouds in the distance. That's fun to show the background, the water with the horizon. It goes all the way back and come towards you. So this is almost like a 1 point perspective feel, but it doesn't have that perspective depth, I should say. And here are some little birds flying in the distance. Some clouds. Okay, that's looking good. Some a little bit more little stones here randomly fill up the area. I like that. Some little stone. More here. You could even put a starfish, a little crab coming on the side. That would be cool. Well, I think we're just about done. So at this time, make sure we sign once again and date.
Now that was a fun lesson on that little palm tree. I know you guys are creative with this little project, and I hope that you really explore with your imagination and even your style. You may come back later after the episode's over and continue to add to that one. Perfect. So if you like this one, the next lesson is going to be really easy but practical again. So stay tuned.
And now back to our show.
All right, if you have your paper and pencils ready, I think you're ready for this next lesson on a little cartoon envelope. Suggestion, after you finish this lesson, you may actually want to do a little cartoon and write a letter to somebody that you may know, a family or friend, and send it to them with one of your cartoons. That would be awesome. So, if you have your paper and pencil, let's begin.
All right, this lesson I'm going to be working with my blue pencil followed by my mechanical pencil once again. And this is going to be a very simple, quick lesson to do. So as you can see, this is an old-fashioned envelope, what many years ago, all that we could do by sending people mail was this way versus email, as everyone's doing mostly today. Old-fashioned, but still a fun little lesson for sure. So here's the envelope open, and I'm just going to be working on the eyes over here in the middle. The two corners, I was thinking having clouds, basically. A little cute, little small little smile there. You know what? Let's put a heart on this side here. I like that little heart here and a heart over here. It's just being fun. Feel free to use your imagination and change it to your style as well. So this is the envelope where the glue part is on the top there. Just roughing it out. What about the little eye? Let's make it a little girly. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, little eyelashes there. I like that. All right, so here's a cloud once again. Working on a little bit here. Very similar. You can do the same shape on both sides. Very simple lesson. But the point of this is just practicing sketching no matter what you do. Simple or more advanced. So here is my mechanical pencil. Dun, 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 dun. As you can see, in this case here, I'm not going to be erasing. I will be going a little slower and harder when I'm pushing down because I have that blue pencil, once again, as my template when I was sketching it out. All right, let's get this little heart over on the other side. All right, and so forth. Okay, that's looking fun, easy. So when you're doing these lessons or just practicing sketching, you may even want to just time yourself, like I shared from previous lessons. And the purpose behind that is just see how fast you are working. It's not a race. Don't race. This is just to time yourself and see how long things are taking you. Definitely, the important part, like I say all the time, is dating them so you can see when you did it and encourage yourself if you're getting better, which you are for sure. All right, that's the inside of the envelope in there. And this is the top part, the flap that's open. All right, and now I'm just going to get the other side. All right, a little bit easier. This is not perfect and anything. This is a simple one. This one actually is a fun lesson I could do as a pop-up card. Those are future lessons. I have about 60 of them in the making, and that's going to be a new series that I'm working on. So stay tuned for those pop-up cards. All right, this is the inside of the envelope. And let's get the eye right now. It's a big eyeball. Very simple. Very. She could be winking. She could be sleepy. Whatever you want to do. In that case, here we go. Another eye on the other side. Of course, two eyeballs. She could be a cyclops envelope. Just one eyeball. That'd be kind of fun. And you know what? Just think of it. You could turn that little face into like a little teddy bear with a little teddy bear nose or a cat nose on it. So it doesn't have to be looking flat. You can give it some creativity on that part. I'm just thinking when I'm working. Here's the mouth. I like that. All right. Simple, easy, easy. Here's the clouds again. I'm just going to shade some of that in there. Give it some little dimensions, a little shape. At that curve, and when I'm shading there, kind of gives you that fluffy feeling. In that case here. All right. And on the inside, now let's get a little darker shadow in the back. Like there's a letter, maybe. Yeah, that's it. Letter inside that you're mailing to your grandma because you want some ice cream, or you want her pumpkin pie or her apple pie or the bread that she makes. I'm thinking of my grandparents. All right. All right. Here we go. It's looking good. I like it. And a little darker. Let's put a little horizon line back there. Yep. I think we're done. So as always, let's sign and date. Share with your family and friends.
Now that was a fun lesson on that cartoon envelope. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I challenge you. You might actually write somebody and put one of your cartoons and sign it. They would really love that. What about that whimsical house? Or how about that palm tree? Each one of them, using your imagination and your style, is fun. Now, remember, all the techniques in drawing and the techniques on sketching is key to all my episodes. Future lessons, we're going to be sharing with you how to color them. My website is jmg-studio.biz. As always, thanks for watching this episode and have a great day.
Ocean City is the place to be if you want to see all the fish in the sea. Fletcher's a joker and Mel is super fast. Jammy and Jelly and Yo-Yo are a blast. Jellica's a beauty and all the friends agree. They're more than a family. They're friendly fish, friendly fish. There's nothing better than spending the day with friendly fish, friendly fish. Always on the go, always wanna play. There's so much adventure waiting here at the park. Just watch out for the piranhas, even some of the sharks. But if you're looking for some fun, here they are. They're friendly fish, friendly fish. They are a fish's best friend.